everyone. Said 13 is unlucky. All of us here at Girl, How'd You Get That Gig? Think episode 13 will be our best yet. Whoop, whoop. Along with my co-host, Amy G, I'm Celeste Gehring. And we're going to welcome in the social media producer for CBS Sports HQ, Gabby DiPaula.
Yay!
Gabby, yay!
Hello.
Gabby also serves as a fill-in news radio anchor for WBAL in Baltimore and calls play-by-play for various college sports. Thanks for joining us, Gabby.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I've been watching
You're-
all your episodes, so I'm excited to be on here.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Keep telling people. We're trying to spread the word. You're a very, very busy bee, Gabby, and I can't wait to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what you do and all that you do. I feel I have a lot in common with you with various jobs and various employers, and that's the path some of us decide to take. But before we get into it, we always play a game on this podcast. You probably saw it then, so you should be prepared. It's called Girl Gig Quick Pick, and it's going to just help warm you up before we dig into your career. We always try and relate it to where somebody's from or where they grew up. So this is all Baltimore. All right.
Yeah.
So we think you're going to be an expert on Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start with the quizzing you on the city of firsts. So here's your first question. Baltimore is known as the city of firsts. Which first is it known for as a form of communication? I have choices. Stand by. Telegraph, phone call, or letter.
I think it's telegraph.
Ding, 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 ding. Ooh. Oh my God, we're going to send you $1 million. Did you know that you get to win that on this?
I didn't know that. I would have came on here.
I know, right? It was much sooner. So Celeste dug into this. 1844, Samuel Morse had sent the first telegraph message from B&O Railroad's Mount Clair station. Just a little knowledge.
I think I did know that. I mean, now that you say that, it sounds very familiar.
It
was probably just a guess. I did know that.
5th grade elementary class, something like that.
All right, favorite dessert, and you can tell us what these are because I have no idea what they are. Snowballs, Smith Island cake, or burger cookies?
Burger cookies, for sure.
What are
they about them?
Burger cookies, they just have a ton of chocolate on top, and it's chocolate frosting, but it's coated in it. It's really thick.
All right, best place. If we were to come visit you, where would you recommend we get crab?
Ooh, crabs right now. To be honest with you, a lot of the crab places I go to, or when I get my crabs, I don't go in and sit. Usually get them for takeout or pickup. So
your house is the best place to have it?
To sit and have it. Yeah, absolutely. Come anytime. But yeah, usually a lot of places, it's more of like a takeout option. You usually eat them at home. And it's also more affordable that way because you buy them by 12s and whatever. So
I'd be scared to cook one of those.
12 crabs.
No.
They're really good though.
Because they don't want to go in the pot. They're like, no.
They don't. It's kind of barbaric, to be honest. I don't really like watching it. I avoid that. I avoid that at all costs.
They scream. They're like, no.
Yeah, you'll have to cook them, then we'll show up, okay?
Yeah.
You'll text us outside.
Well, it's funny because they're blue, obviously, and then when you cook them, they turn red. So it's
scalded.
Yeah. Complete different look when they come out of the pot.
Poor little guys. Oh.
Now, you are a big advocate of Baltimore. What's something that people don't know that's really great about Baltimore?
Well, I think you guys kind of nailed a lot of the food options, but what a lot of people don't know is we do have a lot of outdoor options. We have the best of every single world. We have slopes, we have the bay, we have the beach, which the beach is kind of small, but it's a staple in Maryland. It's called Ocean City, Maryland. There's an Ocean City, New Jersey too. They're very similar, but obviously one's in Maryland, one's in New Jersey. So I don't know if there's a specific place, but I know whatever season you come in, there's always something to do. Like I said, there's several mountains. It's not the mountains like they are out west, but there are mountains so to ski and snowboard. And most people out here do one or the other. A lot of people here have boats and they go in the bay or in the rivers that lead to the bay. So then Ocean City, a lot of people like to vacation there too because it's 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the Bay Area.
So, yeah.
There's a little something.
There's a lot to do. Yeah.
Which way you go. Okay, when you tell others you're from Baltimore, what's the first question they ask?
They want to hear my accent.
That's what I would ask.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan. I love accents.
Originally, when you said Baltimore, I was like, oh, she kind of said it like a regular human, like outside of Baltimore. Everyone makes fun of my Baltimore accent. I have to kind of work it a little bit so I don't sound so Baltimore to the O's and the ums, and it's almost like a mumbling accent. It's all one word. It's not really pretty.
Because I wouldn't be able to identify a Baltimore accent. Just I need to really like dig in there. Like I'm good at
Rough. It's rough.
Boston or
Yeah.
like
Amy does good yeah.
North Dakota. I got that one down, don't ya? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Your New York
Canadian
is good
accent
too.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
some good ones, but I can't do a Baltimore. So we'll talk.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. All right.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
What is Natty Bowl? Natty Bowl.
Natty Bow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bow.
There's the O right there.
Oh.
Natty Bow. That's like the Baltimore beer that everyone drinks around here. A lot of people do what they're called botinis. So you
Ooh.
actually, before you pour the beer, you rim it with Old Bay rim. So it's like a spicy. Have you guys heard of Old Bay?
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have.
You haven't heard of Old Bay? Maybe that's the one thing that people don't know about
I don't know if I
Baltimore.
should be proud of that, but yes, I have.
McCormick's in Owings Mills, so that's Maryland's very small, so everything's very relative and kind of convenient in that way.
Yeah.
To that spice companies in Owings Mills, about 40 minutes north of Baltimore. But
Okay.
yeah, Old Bay is a big component here. You put Old Bay, the spice on everything. It's almost like a it's not like you could kind of look at it as like a spicy like what you
liqueur?
put on. No, it's like what you would put on like margaritas sometimes,
No,
that
like to salt the rim. Or
Yeah.
you
Okay.
get it some
Okay.
Yeah,
British,
gotcha.
Irish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So you put you make a botini, you put the Old Bay on the rim, and then you pour the beer. It's really good.
I want a botini. I'm gonna
Let's
look
do
that up. Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Two more. You need to explain to us, if you can,
Yeah.
what a yard dog is at Camden. Camden's one of my favorite parks all time, by the way.
Oh, do you love it? Yeah.
I
A lot
love
of people love
Camden.
it here. Yeah. I
I
think it
love
might be getting a
Camden.
new name soon here.
I think so too.
Because
You have a lot of new
yeah.
stuff going on in baseball back there, but yes.
Baltimore sports is thriving right now.
Yeah.
I mean, really thriving. I can't
Mhm.
tell you the last time we've really thrived like this.
Enjoy
But
it.
yeah, yard dog's just a huge hot dog.
All right.
more.
Favorite team in Baltimore, and you have to pick one. What's your favorite team?
I think I kind of go back and forth. I do love the Ravens. My family's a big football family. My dad was a high school football coach. We love the Ravens. My grandfather loved football. My dad played in a huge high school game back, when he was playing. We're just big football people.
Her dad's our
football.
age, Celeste, just so you know.
I know.
Way back.
He does.
Dinosaur age, in the 80s.
Big football family. Big football family.
All right. So with that, then that's the perfect segue because you just said your dad was a high school football coach. So you grew up around sports. When did your relationship with sports, like what do you recall it actually beginning, and what did it look like? Did you just love sports? Did you play sports?
Yeah.
What is that picture?
What's funny, because like my sister, she has 2 kids, and then my stepbrother also has a kid, and it's kind of funny seeing them like throw kids into sports and seeing what sticks. And that's kind of what happened with me, except for I did every sport and it stuck. So I've loved soccer when I was younger. I played softball, I did a little horseback riding. I played almost every sport except basketball. It just was never my thing. Still not my thing. And my parents just kind of threw us in there, loved it, played lacrosse. I love the competitive aspect of it. And my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, like we were all just very, except for my younger sister, just very engulfed in the sports.
Yeah.
My older sister was good at soccer. My younger sister, she was more in like the ballet side of things, but she did do some sports as well. And then just my dad was a high school football coach, and we just loved watching him, and he loved it too. And I just think we just have had fun watching football, whether it's professional or the high school level or even college level. So it started very young for all of us.
Who do you remember being your biggest sports heroes? Who
I
did you
think
love to watch?
This is so common coming from Baltimore, but it was really like Cal Ripken, even though I
Well,
was super young when
I
that
was
happened.
hoping we could talk about him.
Wow.
I was
I mean,
super
she had
young.
just like come out of the womb, but
I know,
everybody
that's
loves
cute, too.
I
Cal.
know, but it's funny because like when I was younger, I used to dress up as all these sports figures. Like I was Cal Ripken Jr. for Halloween.
Yeah.
Like Ray Lewis. I was like,
Oh, Ray Lewis. Oh my
I
gosh, of
know,
course.
love
Yeah.
Ray Lewis. I think I love Ray Lewis's heart and competitiveness.
Mhm.
That was just so fun to see.
He had a
So
tiny bit of
competitive.
trouble with the law, but other than that,
A little bit, little bit. It's funny because my dad is so small in Maryland. They call it Smaltimore because everyone knows from
everyone.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad was involved in that whole situation actually because he was a cop for 35 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Ray Lewis, for those, we don't really have time to go into the story, but
Right.
very, very interesting case for
Yeah.
sure. So go look it
yeah.
up. That's a lot. That must have been made for a good dinner conversation.
Yeah. Well, I didn't find out that he was like involved in the case till like 5 years ago.
Oh
He
yeah.
just told us. I was like, what? Like this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I just find this out. So he
Mhm.
wasn't a main
No.
investigator, but he was part of like I think some of the decisions that they made.
Oh wow. So a cop and a football coach. Wow. I like it. All
Mhm.
right.
And Gabby, you and I have talked a lot about your family and how they supported you for your own sports dreams. Talk a little bit about that, how your family really supported you during, your childhood.
I thank God that they did. Well, it's funny because I think I told you this story, Celeste, but I was supposed to be a veterinarian or some kind of animal science major, and I was for half the time I was in college. And then I really remember this like so vividly. My parents sent me down. We love the beach. We had a place in Ocean City for a little while, and we were sitting out down near the we were in the sand on the beach. And right before the waves crashed, I'm sitting down and my parents are looking at me and like, you really should change your major. You're like, you should do sports. Like I can help you, network if you need to or whatever. You're really good at it. That's what you should be doing. And I was like, I'm gonna give it one more try. And it was like the hardest semester I ever had. And then they're like, are you ready to kind of like really dive into this? So they kind of led me into doing sports, but as you guys know, it can kind of look like a pipe dream to a lot of people.
Mhm.
So my parents are very aware of saving money, how you can't really make a ton of money, especially in the beginning. You're doing all these internships, and now they're not free now anymore. But when
I
I
know
was
you
doing
get
them,
paid now.
I was working for
Yes.
free. I was
Gosh,
working for
so were
free, and
we.
then I was working another side job, and then doing another internship, like doing 50 different things, almost like what I'm doing now. So they were just very supportive of it, and it did lead me in the right path. I do regret, in a way, like not doing journalism because I did ended up with the communications and English
I was gonna just ask
BA.
you to say what you
But
majored in. Yeah.
yeah, but that's something I do look back on, and I wish I just like took my parents' advice. They really do know. I hope my dad kind of doesn't listen to this, so I don't admit it, but they really do know what's best.
Yes, Gabby, we do. Yes.
It's you're gonna show this to your kids, aren't you? Everyone.
I have a 19-year-old and an almost 16-year-old. And I mean, it happened today. I was like, you're going to be fine.
Been
You
around
know
the
this
block.
stuff. You know that she
Yeah.
had this big test, and she was not nice today. And I hope she does listen to this. So she hears this.
I do
And
wish I listened to my
she
parents.
she texted me,
Yeah.
I got a 96. I was like, so maybe next time I won't be so rude in the morning to your mom, who knows you're going to be fine because I helped you study for it and we got
Ooh.
this.
She's in that age though. Just the sass comes
Oh.
out. You have another like
Oh.
7 years until it really levels out.
There's so much gray I have to cover up already. It's not fair. Okay, so I don't know the background on this. Celeste did a little more research because on you than I did because she already knew you. The question is, what do you wish people knew about cheerleading? But I need some background on that.
Cool. I love talking about it. It's a lot of fun. Have you seen the Netflix show Cheer?
No,
Oh,
but
you
I
should
think
watch
I
it.
should.
You
Okay.
should. It's kind of like that. It's competitive cheerleading. It's gymnastics in a way,
hmm
how gymnastics, it's you start from the beginning in this Olympic level. Like you go into gymnastics, it's almost destined that you should go to the Olympics, right? Because that's like
Right.
the top, the top
Yeah,
tier.
that's where you go.
But that's how you're kind of treated in competitive cheerleading too. There's a ton of huge competitions that are worldwide, global. People travel from all over the country to go to these competitions. So
Yeah.
I've gotten injured through it's a 3-minute routine, which everyone's like, why are these people kind of going crazy for it? But it's like, when you watch gymnastics too, it's a
Sure.
routine that you watch, you
Yeah.
judge. It takes a ton of athleticism, a lot of risk because you're
Yeah, you're
obviously
flying
your
in the
body.
air, or
Mhm.
having
A
somebody
million
pick
feet
you
up.
up and
A lot
drop
of
you.
risk. Yep.
Yeah.
I've gotten dropped. I've landed on my head. I've landed on my back. Landed on everything. I think that's why I'm
So
like kind of like
can we
dropped.
back up a little bit? Because like when you
Yeah.
said what sports you played, you didn't mention cheerleading. So when did cheerleading start for you, and how far
Yeah.
did you go with it?
So I did gymnastics for about a year, 2 years, but I wasn't in love with it because I think in the beginning it was just I was really young and it was a lot of like frolicking and like point your toes and handstands. And I was like, this is like too like I can't sit still enough for this. I need to be like thrown like doing
I need
flips. I
more.
can't.
I need more.
I need
I need
adrenaline.
more activity. So I ended up doing competitive cheerleading. My cousins were all in it. And they kind of
Fun.
showed me and introduced my sister and I were like, wait, we love this. I love the Power Rangers growing up. And I thought it was
Yeah.
so cool that they were kicking it, people and punching people and
Yeah.
doing flips and
Yep.
fighting and saving the world while they're, doing all this gymnastic stuff. So I love that. And that's kind of what I compared it to. And I thought that was so cool. So I started when I was 10 and I really didn't get out of it until I was kind of kicked out of it because I got injured. I didn't really have a choice. So I got injured in college because I cheered in college for about a year.
Okay.
And then
Four.
for
Yeah.
Maryland, for University of
Yes.
Maryland,
Yes. Big school.
Terps, the Terps,
the
Terps.
Terps.
Turpentine.
Originally, I went to Coastal Carolina my freshman year, supposed to cheer there, and kind of chickened out. No, I think I was just so far from home, but I do regret another thing. My parents were like, you should have done it. It's like, I know. I know.
Sounds like you've learned some lessons. That's good. Yeah.
Tough love. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's funny growing up in the 80s
Mhm.
and in high school, there was definitely I think it's fair to say there was a stigma between the girl athletes that consider themselves playing sports and the cheerleaders. It
Mhm.
wasn't nearly as robust and active and skilled when
No.
I was in high school. And so I
Same.
definitely had kind of a biased view of like, well, I'm not going to be a cheerleader. They're not athletes. And that has absolutely changed over
Oh,
time.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's an incredible sport and it takes incredible strength. And I love watching it because isn't the national competition in Florida? It's on ESPN and
Yeah.
I love
I
watching
would
those.
I would love to just be a commentator for that. That would be awesome because I've
That'd be great.
I
She's
cheered in that
putting it out
competition.
there.
So
Let's get her on, everyone.
Let's do it, manifest
yeah,
it.
that'd
And
be
I
so
just
fun.
I think it's such a great example of evolution of the female athlete and
Mhm.
where you can be a female athlete and in what, category and just taking it to like such a different level. And
Yeah,
I love it.
it's tough. I mean, the amount of times I'd be in the gym almost 6 days a week,
Mhm.
whether it's working out, whether it's working on flexibility, whether it's working
Totally.
on a new flip. I mean, I was in the gym a lot, 24/7.
Little shout out to my kids' high school. Their cheerleading team just won some big competition. I should probably know
Let's
what it
go.
is, but they were in the
That's
paper.
great.
Yeah. I was like, oh, hey, look at that. Yeah.
Can you still do flips, Gabby?
I think I could pull a couple of flips off on a trampoline.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can do one off at the diving board still. I can still do that. But I tried doing a handstand last year and I'm
What was
working
your-
on trying to get that flexibility back and that strength back because once it's gone, you're like, wow, I'm really, really weak.
I never had it.
You're an athlete. You're consistently eating, working out. I mean, you're just building muscle. So
Yeah.
it's once you lose it, you're like, oh my God, where's my strength?
What was your injury?
I had a hip injury. So it was hip impingement, which a lot of baseball players actually get too.
They do.
And it was before that I had a minimal like stress fracture in my hip as well that apparently healed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if
You're-
it actually
you're-
healed.
Guaranteed that Celeste at over 6 feet and me at 5'10" will not be attempting any flips anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm a midget. I'm 5'2". Everyone that sees me in person, like, you're a smaller person. I'm like, yep.
You're just a small
Sure.
little package. We could put you in our
Sure.
back pocket. Hop
Sure
on.
am.
Yeah.
Sure am. Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your role, what you do as a social media producer at CBS.
Yeah. So right now it's just really just editing clips. Like CBS had the Super Bowl this year, so it was really just about we had to be our boss kind of said we had a ton of eyes on our social for this week. So really being careful about that, but putting like, I mean, it kind of, this Super Bowl kind of wrote itself with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in it, because if you post any of that, no matter how sick people say that they are of both of them, they still attract a ton of viewers, and likes and posts. So it's really just editing, creating content, creating videos, creating graphics, and really putting the right captions. Really like a typical like social media job, but really making the sell, because right now I work specifically with Facebook, and Facebook generates a lot of money in their advertising. So it's really just making sure, because the more views you get, obviously the more money and the more advertising and clicks as well. So it's really just selling our pieces, our videos, um, anything that's written up. It's just making those sales. So kind of like a salesman in a way.
How do you
So
how do you approach the content you want to create, and like how much research happens on your end? How current does it need to be? How many sports are you covering? What goes into
every
all
single
of that?
sport, every single sport. So right now, obviously Super Bowl was huge.
Hmm.
NHL, I'm trying to get more into that. A little bit. We're not, CBS doesn't have a huge following with that, but NBA is huge. There's
Hmm.
NBA playoffs are going to be coming up soon as well. Um, but MLB as well. So it's really covering every single sport. We do have a research team that's been
Hmm.
super awesome, because they find out and can do everything. And I've messaged them about, is this fair to kind of put out? Is this
Hmm.
caption okay to put out? Is this, is this the same thing as what you guys are saying as well? So it's really just, it's every sport, it's college basketball. I mean, it's really 24/7. And how I guess you like pick and choose is really what's relevant. Like right now, um, I work with 87 Facebook pages.
Wow.
And most of the main ones, like the NFL main one, the CBS main one, we're also with 24/7 sports. So that's like the college page, the
Hmm.
college, sports um teams. So covering those pages with graphics and videos and everything is really, I mean, I guess it sounds like a lot, but I mean, you guys know, once you're in
It's kind
sports,
of a
it's kind of
formula.
everywhere. Yeah.
There's a little
Mhm.
bit of, and are you on camera for these? Are you creating off camera?
Off camera.
Off camera.
Hmm.
Okay. And then I think like a really important part is the writing part. So you mentioned you're writing these captions.
Hmm.
Where are your thoughts on the importance of writing and then writing for social media? Those are two very different things. Like you mentioned, thought maybe I should have studied journalism.
Yeah.
But how does knowing how to write help you? Because I'm always trying to
Sure,
really
it's
push
always
that agenda that
yeah.
you got to know how to write. But then writing for social media is very specific.
It is. It takes a lot of creativity.
Hmm.
Because you have to sell it, You can't, I mean, Taylor Swift kind of sells itself, right?
Hmm.
But like I'll say one post, and I can probably show you guys some today, like, we have to be really careful. They had an after party, obviously, after the Super Bowl. And I wasn't like, that was one of the things I wasn't sure if you're okay to post, because there's alcohol, there's,
Hmm.
after parties, there's always like, whatever agenda you come up with in your head, you don't really want to make the wrong sell. But I'm sure you guys saw it. Travis Kelce saying to Taylor Swift, "You belong with me." So the caption I wrote was, "The trophy belongs with me." So it's really fun to be able to put that creativity mixed with
Hmm.
both Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, because I got a ton of views, a ton of likes, a ton of engagement, and also was kind of like, oh, this is, the Taylor Swift sells there, but also the caption kind of goes with it too. And people know
Hmm.
what I'm saying there. I'm kind of
And that was
reciting the lyric.
yours. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of creativity. Writing is huge though, like you said, and selling the graphics, selling the videos, selling the refers, which is like the stories that are written up, the articles, is super important.
There's so much that goes into it too. I think people really don't appreciate what goes into this role. What is your
Yeah.
favorite part about doing it? Like, what do you like the most?
I think that just I'm so involved with it. It's my boss allows me to have the most freedom in this role. So he's like, I
Mhm.
just, as long as we are making money and everything, if you're selling a video that works, keep doing it. Like I have a ton of freedom with my job, which I do love. and I'm also just very engulfed with sports the entire time. Like it was kind of cool this year. Like I didn't get to travel for the Super Bowl, but like having all those posts and being able to create for the Super Bowl was a lot of fun. So, um, the creativity part of it has been really, really. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but it's been a lot of fun. So, and the freedom of it because I think I'm pretty good at it. So, kind of seeing your stuff really stick to the wall and it works,
Mm-hmm.
it's been
Mm-hmm.
really rewarding.
And you get to work remotely.
Hmm.
And so is there a Gabby in every major sports city? Because your headquarters you have two headquarters,
We
Stamford,
have
Connecticut, and Fort Lauderdale?
It's Fort Lauderdale, I think it's Connecticut, and then it's Nashville.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So then how does that work that you're in Baltimore?
Mm-hmm. Um, so it's just because I'm working with just one social platform. So
Okay.
Facebook, it just allows you to kind of create in that way because we do have a team that goes out to the Super Bowl and
Mm-hmm.
the events to kind of create that content as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that works. It's also kind of nice in a way where I can have a little more flexibility when it comes to freelancing and
Mm-hmm.
seeing what other opportunities are out there as well. So, um, yeah, I mean, I've been really happy with CBS and how they've treated me. They've been great, especially remotely. And yeah.
I want to get into the other things that you do,
Mhm.
but if somebody is watching this and they're like, I want to do what Gabby does, and I live in San Francisco or I live
Mhm.
in Houston,
Mhm.
what is your advice on approaching CBS HQ? Like, what would that path look like for somebody trying to get a job in social media for CBS HQ?
I mean, kind of like what people have probably told you guys and have told me, it's really about timing, like you said, and knowing the right people. I've networked. I mean, I met Celeste through networking, and I'm meeting you because of Celeste through
Right,
networking.
right, right.
So I know people probably sound like a broken record and very redundant, but it's all networking. I found
Mm-hmm.
this job because someone was talking about it and asked if I wanted to apply. I said, sure. I got an interview within a week, got hired the next week. So
Wow.
it was really about timing and networking. I have put myself out there saying, I am looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
These are my qualities. This is what I have. This is what I can do. What do you do? What do you know? And I
Mm-hmm.
think in that way, people need to be way more vulnerable, including me, when it comes to looking for jobs and approaching the jobs and approaching networking, just being very open about it, saying
Mm-hmm.
what do you have? What are they looking for? Um, sometimes I think people kind of beat around the bush to try to
Mm-hmm.
make networking work. And I'm like, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to get a job eventually. So how are you trying to sell yourself in that way?
It's so true. And they like hang back thinking somebody's going to find them.
Hmm.
Nope,
I
nobody's
that's what
looking. Yeah,
yeah,
you got
that's
to
kind
go
of
look for it.
yeah. And a lot of the jobs I have received, I've been looking and I've been open and like very just like poking the bear. Hey, what do you have? Is there anything
Mm-hmm.
coming up?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what happened with CBS. So
Okay, so the job at CBS gives you some flexibility to have other
yeah.
jobs and try
Mhm.
other things in sports, which you're absolutely doing. So you call play by play for
Mhm.
college sports. So we want to talk
Yeah.
about that. Plus, you serve as a fill-in news anchor for WBAL, which is a local Baltimore radio TV station. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about those jobs, how you fit them in around what you do with CBS.
And that's kind of what's nice because I can work remotely, right? So doing any kind of play-by-play, a lot of play-by-play games are either Wednesday nights when I'm already off or Saturdays or Sundays. I haven't done one since November, or was it October? I was doing football. I did some sidelining in November as well. So I was able to kind of work around that schedule. My
Mm-hmm.
boss has been really nice about, with CBS, like, hey, is it okay if I do X, Y, and Z? He's like, sure, I get it. Freelance, like whatever you got to do. To get by. So it's really nice to be able to have that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, the play-by-play in color, it happened during 2020. I got laid off. A
Me
mentor of mine.
too. Yay, the 2020
Woo!
club.
Yeah, right. I'm looking back and like I'm kind of happy I got laid off because I don't know what if I would still be there or not. I don't know if I would have grown or anything. So in a
Right.
way, it was a
All
blessing.
happens for a reason.
All happens for a reason. But someone told me, they're like, you know what, you don't know what's going to happen in media. Go try doing play by play, try doing color. And I was like, absolutely not. That's a lot of ad lib. I don't think I can do it. The first day I did it, I loved it. So, I love being able to create your own story and be able to, talk as college athletes, they play for something, whether it's D1,
Yes.
D2, or D3. They're not, most of them aren't going to get it paid or like some of these other big NIL deals. So that's a lot of fun to see the passion behind it and
Totally agree.
learn about the kids. So, and then the radio station kind of happened again with networking. So a girl told me, hey, there's a part-time gig. It's news. A couple people, as soon as I joined the radio station, a couple people left or got fired. So I was able kind of being put into whatever they needed. And that was co-hosting the morning drive and doing some sports for them too. So I've kind of been like a Swiss Army knife and saying yes
You
to
are.
things. So but that's
You
what you
are.
gotta do. It's
I
like,
will jack of all trades.
how
Is
you
what
gonna
was in my
survive?
head.
How you gonna
I
survive
know.
in
You
this
got it.
industry
You have to
without
pay your
doing everything?
bills,
Yeah.
right? You got to pay your bills.
Yeah.
What
Someone
is
told
the
me like you have to eat too. That's the point of it. You have to eat, right?
Yeah.
So
You're hungry.
yeah.
what is the biggest difference between social news and play by play? And would you like to focus on one, or you like doing all of them at once? It's got to be chaotic.
Plus, you know this answer. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know the answer.
I know. I don't think, I think social learning about it now, I think seeing content creation, it's huge. Learning how to edit and graphic and design, that's huge. Because eventually you're gonna have to be able to do everything, and that's what everyone's doing, and they're laying off and condensing. But if I could pick one job, it'd probably be either play by play or color analyst. But I do love interviewing though. I love interviewing players and coming up with my own questions and hearing their answers and having a conversation. I do love that part of it. So something along the lines of maybe a color analyst, in-game broadcasting, I want to do so badly. That's my ultimate goal.
Well, the nice part about kind of all those positions, like in-game reporter, play-by-play color analyst, is if you're doing your job as a play-by-play announcer and color analyst, you are interviewing the players. You are getting to know the team prior to going on so that you've got this plethora of storylines to work with during the broadcast for those times that you do have to go on the fly or fill or, an injury or whatever it is that you have to fill the time. So you kind of get that mix of everything. But with that, broadcasting on-air jobs are so competitive, and they're extra competitive. I don't know if that's fair to say, because I think men are super competitive in it too, but I feel like it's extra competitive between women because I don't feel there's as many opportunities, because so often play-by-play color analysts, they're men, right? So how do you find support? Where have you found support? And then how are you paying that forward?
Yeah, I think I have a good group of people in this industry where I can kind of bounce my ideas off of that I've just met through Twitter, Instagram, another, women in sports group. Because I think they're all very supportive and they all get it. This industry is not a 9 to 5. You don't go to college and you have a job that you're going to be there for 30 years. It's just not it, So I've been able to ask the other females and kind of have a screw it mindset. People don't know what actually happens behind the scenes. They just see what's right there in front of them. So why would I hide behind anything?
Right.
I pay it forward by I try to be a friend for anyone in this industry. If anyone ever needs help, advice, I try to be a good person because there's a lot of not so great people in this industry. So I think it's just I'm involved in a women's in sports group, a couple of them actually. So I'm always, I've heard CBS was going to hire gig or something that would
But
be
we like
helpful
that
for
word a
them.
lot.
Yes, we like that
Gig.
word.
Get
Get a
that
gig.
gig. Get that gig.
I'm
And
always
it-
trying to help it anyway to get them in the industry and keep them in there. So
Mhm.
And you're so consistent with that. And, sometimes I think a lot of women have been burned in this industry,
Yeah.
right? But you are so consistent with continuously being a mentor, helping women. Why do you keep going at it when you get burned? Because you've been burned.
Oh, I've been burned.
Yeah.
I mean, burned as we speak.
She's
right
like the crab.
Yes.
She was blue and now she's red.
I am the crab. I am so the crab. I am a Maryland crab. I've gotten burned. I love what I do, and that's what I keep saying is I'm really happy with, CBS has been great. They really have been. And being able to have some flexibility, doing some other stuff that I want to do has been great too.
Mhm.
So, like I had my first sidelining gig for ESPN back in November, and I was so high from that. It just, I was like, why would I want to do anything else? What else is out there that could give me that high?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But
You keep
again,
going for that feeling.
and then 24 hours later, you're like, okay, what's the next thing?
Why haven't they called back? I don't understand. I did
What's
so
the next
good.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh
You
my
you get so
gosh.
high and you're ready for the next high. You're like, all right, what's next? Keep going.
Why do you think, uh, where do you think we've come as women, supporting women? Because you're at least a generation, if not two, behind me and Celeste.
Yeah.
And why aren't we more supportive? Like, just in your opinion, what are your thoughts on that?
I thought
Of
about
each
this.
other.
I thought about this yesterday because women, I feel like there's a lot of men that are still running everything, radio, TV, media, whatever it is. So men always have, I feel like, this picture of what a woman should look like on TV, on radio, how they should sound or whatever. So they're still running the show. So it almost pits women together because they're like, I need to look like this and sound like this because that's what works. So there only can be one girl because that's what it is. It's only one girl and four
Right.
guys, right?
Right.
Or one girl and like two guys. The girl is always the minority in that situation. At least it has been.
Well,
So I think it pits,
gender wise and outnumbered wise, yes.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it pits people together because they think, and this is kind of been my thought too, there only can be one woman. There
Mhm.
only can be one girl
Fill
in this
that quota.
broadcast, in this, yeah, fill the quota in this pregame, in this postgame. There can only be one woman. So it kind of pits people together. But I think what I do like, and again, I thought about this last night, is how people are very open about being supportive and they actually show it.
Mhm.
Where there's some people, there's some women who I have rubbed elbows with and they haven't really been super nice. But if you show that you're nice and you show you're consistently
Mhm.
kind, I think it kind of,
Comes back to you.
yeah, it comes back to you. And
Oh,
you
it's a
also,
total karma game. Karma, I'm
yeah,
so into that
yeah.
because, you know,
Yeah.
Celeste and I have been around just a little bit longer. And it's so interesting the fear I think women deal with. That's real fear about, am I going to get that job? I need that
Mhm.
job. I need to hold on to this job. I'm getting older. Here comes somebody younger because a man is in a position to say, you're not what we want to look at anymore. We want to look at this.
Yeah.
And so it crushes your identity in your world because now we're
Mhm.
not being looked at for our skills. We're being looked at for what we look like. And
Yeah.
that becomes very difficult for women.
Mhm.
And I do think, I'm 50 and I'm kind of like, whatever, this is what it looks like. Got myself a little pot belly and I got some gray hair, but I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I think, to your point, Amy, where women have really evolved too, is there are so many strong on-air talent, that have
Yeah.
promoted women or talked to men about women being producers and women getting out into the field more. Like, I think women in the past may have said, oh, I want a guy because they're going to know all the sports facts, or I want a man to produce me because they're going to write it right for the audience and all of that. And I
Mhm.
find now that a lot of women are actually saying, oh, you know what? It's cool if I have a female producer because they actually know what they're talking about, or they
Mhm.
actually can write. Where, I think in the past, women were really hard on women about that and only wanted a man.
Mhm.
I see that for sure. I think sometimes too, like one of our last guests, Allison, is a producer for the Rockies. I think a lot of times the female approach works better for a group aspect and multitasking. I mean, I think as you look at genders and you stereotype genders to an extent, I think women are in general better multitaskers, which puts you in a great position as a producer to be able to handle this person. You got to talk to the talent, you got to talk to the director, you got to talk to the tape op. Like you got 8 million things going on and you can do it calmly.
It's funny because my uncle calls it in like our family, because there's mostly females on that side of the family, the figure it out gene. Like, we have the figure it out gene.
You do. You
Yeah.
do. Okay,
Yeah.
well, with that, let's give some men some props too. And
Yeah.
I'm real curious about your dad, but men in general, what has been your experience regarding their support of your career and this resiliency that you have? We're now calling you the crab because you've been burned so many times, right? But you still get up and do your thing and go after it.
Yeah.
Is there a connection to your relationship with your father in that? And are there other men who have helped you enhance that trait that you have?
Yeah, well, I'll start with like the men. Actually, I've dealt with a lot of good men. There's like that small
we have
percentage
too.
where men suck, but a lot of the men I have dealt with have
regarding
been really
work,
great.
I don't know about relationships, but work, good guys.
Work, yeah, work, has been pretty much been great, and supportive. There is that small percentage which I've kind of seen the past 2 years. So more recently, that has been kind of burned me and has made me that steamed crab. But I mean, my dad has always worked 2 or 3 jobs up until I was 19. He was always grinding. So he knows the grind. None of my parents or even really my sisters ever had a regular 9 to 5 job. So my dad was like, I never had a 9 to 5 job. I can't push you to have a 9 to 5 job. Because I mean, being a cop, it really wasn't. It was where's this crime at? What time's this crime at? Or, calling the shots, X, Y, and Z. So and then he was a coach and then did another side gig. So it just runs into my family. You always have to keep grinding in this industry, which I remember someone telling me, he was like, you're never just gonna have one job. And I was like, what? It's like, that's so crazy. Why would you ever say that? And now I'm like, oh, and I'm telling other people that, and they're like, what? These young 21, 22-year-olds, I'm like, no, you're gonna need another job probably too.
Gabby, this is no joke. I get the taxes together. I do all that for me and my husband. And Paul works for ESPN, covers the Raiders.
Cool.
He had one W-2. Last year I had 16 1099s.
Oh.
16 to his one W-2. So a 1699s and 2 W-2s. So I had 18 sources of income coming at me. And here's the other fact that'll get you. I made 84% of what Paul made.
Oh.
So that's where we're at. And my mom goes, well, at least you're above average, because I think the average is 80, women make 83% or something like that of what men make. But you are not kidding. You have to be able to work a lot of jobs. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't mind it. And I love it.
No, it's fun. It keeps it.
Yeah.
I never know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Where am I right now? What are we doing, Celeste?
We're heading to Maryland soon.
Oh, that's right. We're going to see Gabby.
Exactly. All right, Gabby, to shut this down, what is the best piece of advice you could give to someone who wants to work in sports?
Have 3 jobs.
Besides having 3 jobs.
I think it's perspective. I think you're not going to come out of your college, you're not going to have your degree and you're going to get your dream job. It's just not usually the case. There's like a 1 or 2% of people that actually happens to, and it's usually not a woman. So I think it's perspective. If it's a social media job, which I'm in, it's not exactly what I want to do, but I took it and I do like it. And I think I could grow from here to do what I want to do. So I think it's always, if that job doesn't fit everything that you're looking for, I say take it, because you're eventually going to learn from it and probably use it. And it's going to be a good resume builder and everything. So don't always look for the specific job. Look for something that's kind of parallel to it.
Get in the door.
Get in.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great.
All right. Thank you,
I
Gabby.
like her.
Isn't she great?
Yes. Good job,
Love
Celeste.
her. All right, Amy, who's up next on episode 14 of Girl, How'd You Get That Gig?
I know we've got a good one. Gabby, we're going to say goodbye to you first and just best of luck to you. I hope you stay in touch. And I just love your grinder mentality. You're like set for success. You're on your way, sister. And she's back east, so she's going to go to bed. So we're going to say goodbye to Miss Gabby. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So Miss Celeste, we're coming up on, that was episode 13. Yay, 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 yay in the can. Episode 14, she hails from my neck of the woods. She's a Sonoma County girl and now works for my alma mater. So we get to chat with Heather Hunter, Senior Associate Director at UC Davis. Go Eggs. And I'm so excited. I love anybody who went to
You
UC
are.
Davis. I know. So she's going to blow everyone's minds because her journey is amazing. Her skill set is like second to none. Very demanding role that she handles at UC Davis. And she is a boss, $.
She is. I got to take a picture with her at USF in an event one time. And I was like,
You did.
I like her.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on all social platforms. Handle is at Girl Gig Podcast. And you can listen to Girl, How'd You Get That Gig on your favorite podcast app or subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. For Amy G, I'm Celeste Gehring. Until next time, go get that gig.